Hey everyone, it's Megan from Bookish Delights. And this video is my March TBR, and there's quite a few books. There's quite a few physical books, plus I'm going to be listening to some audiobooks. And before I get into it, I just want to say that each month I take part in a Facebook group that's called Book Battle, but the theme of this month is the Breakfast Club. And we have a list of criteria each month where you have to try and read books that fit those criteria. So for this, I have a couple books that are not on the criteria. They're just extra books that I plan to read but probably won't get to. It's very ambitious. There is a list of 11 criteria, so that will be 11 books to read, and then you can read any other book that doesn't fit the criteria for 1 point. Book Battle, you get put onto different teams. Each book you read is worth a certain amount of points depending on the criteria. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to list the books that I'm reading for Book Battle, and then any extras will be at the end. And then I also have a TBR jar that I will pull from, although it hasn't been updated. There are books in here that I have read because I try to pull most of my books off of my shelves to read for Book Battle. So there's quite a few in here that I may have already read. Let's get into it. So the first book is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I'm also going to say that I don't really read synopsis of books. I usually buy books if I hear a good word about them. The title sounds interesting, the cover looks interesting, and if I do read a synopsis, by the time I get to read that book, I forget about the synopsis. So I will try to, if I remember some parts about books, then I'll try to explain it. Most likely not. It's a group of, there's greasers, and then there's like the rich kids. There's like two main gangs, and like they don't like each other, and one thing leads to another. There's a big fight and it just gets out of hand, and then two of the guys in the greasers, they kind of run off because they're basically being hunted for, I guess. It's really good. It's going to be a reread. And then I'm going to read Forever and Always and Forever, Laura Jean. This is the final book to the trilogy of To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. And if you guys don't know what this book is about, basically a girl, Laura Jean, she had written letters to all the boys that she had loved in her life, but she did not intend for them to be sent out. But somehow all the letters have been sent out to the guys that she wrote about, and it just follows along how she deals with that. The next book is This Is the Life by Alex Shearer. This is for green cover, although on camera to me it's kind of coming up more teal, but it is a little more green in person. I honestly don't know what this one is about. I bought it on Book Outlet because it was only a couple dollars. The next book I have is for purple cover, is one of the criteria, and this is Zenith by Sasha Ellsberg and Lindsay Cummings. This is the first book in the Andromeda saga, and it's more sci-fi, which I don't, it's like a fantasy sci-fi. I don't typically read sci-fi, but I love Sasha. I usually binge watch her YouTube channel, and I just really wanted to support her in getting this book, and also support Lindsay Cummings. I've been wanting to read it for a while, even though there is debate, I guess, over it. You either love it or you hate it, and I'm just putting all of that aside and not letting that interfere with changing my mind about it. Like, I bought it with intentions of reading it. Hopefully I'm going to read it this month. I am quite excited for it. The next book is Winger by Andrew Smith. This, I quite like the artwork on the back. It's basically the cover, but animated. I think this was more like a coming of age. Probably not. I'm really bad at remembering synopsis. One of those words. Guess it is kind of like a coming of age and just trying to fit in. The next book I have is Legendary by Stephanie Gerber. This is the second book to, I think it's a trilogy. There's a third book, but I'm not sure if there's going to be more than just the three. The first book is Caraval, and it's magical and mystical, and there's like this weird game you have to try and solve. It's like a mystery, like solving a mystery type game. A lot of people also compare it to The Night Circus. I've read The Night Circus, but I can't remember anything about it. And I was gonna do a reread of it, but I don't really want to because I didn't remember any of it the first time I read it. I'm probably not going to remember any of it the second time I read it, so I end up getting rid of it. But this series I love. The last physical book that I have for book battle is this, and this is also a borrowed book. I'm trying to read at least one borrowed book each month. And this is Charmed by Michelle Chris. This is the second book in the Hex duology. I do believe it's only a duology. At least last time I checked it were. And this is another fantasy with magic and witches. And her mom gets, like, the main character's mom, she gets kidnapped and she has to try to figure out where she is, and she realizes then that she's like in a family of witches or something like that. It's a lot more interesting than I make it sound. Still have another physical book, but I'll get to that in a moment. I have some books on Scribd, 3 audiobooks, possibly a 4th audiobook because I didn't get to it last month, but the 3 for this month is Love, Rosie, also known as Where Rainbows End by Cecilia Ahern or Aaron. And then the second book is The Wish Granter by CJ Redwine, and that is the second book to The Shadow Queen, which I listened to in February. So I want to continue that, and I might even eventually get the physical copies and do a reread of them, like a physical read of them, because I quite enjoyed Shadow Queen, so I think I am gonna really enjoy The Wish Granter as well. And then the last book that will go along with Book Battle is Year One by Nora Roberts. I have never read anything by her, but this one sounded interesting. It involves horror, there's chaos, there's magic. I like all 3 of those things in books, so going with it. The next audiobook is A Kiss of Shadows by Laurel K. Hamilton. No idea what it was about, but it was on a recommendation for one of the criterias for last month. I think it's paranormal. And then I have Scythe by Neil Shusterman, and this is the first book. I don't know if it's a series, but I do know the second book is Thunderhead. There has been a lot of hype surrounding this book and Thunderhead, and I've been putting it on my TBR for so long. I'm hoping to get to it this month. I'm going to pull a book from my TBR jar. Will I get to it? I'm not sure. And if I've already read the book that I pull out, then I'll just pick it. I don't have anything to put. We will just go in deep. what she said. Okay. Oh, there's a couple. We have The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson, and that is, I don't know, oh, right here. It used to be up on the top shelf, but I rearranged my bookshelf. So my TBR pick is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. That concludes my TBR. So I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any video suggestions, comment them down below. I have an Instagram, Bookish Delights. Everything is linked below. And if you're into craft videos or journaling, then follow my other YouTube channel, which is Cluttered Crafter. The name speaks for itself. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you next time.